Imagine this. You buy a dusty box of old VHS tapes at a garage sale. Nothing unusual, just home videos from families long forgotten. But as you watch, you notice him. A figure that shouldn't be there. Silent, still, watching. And the more you watch, the closer he gets. Tonight I'm going to tell you the terrifying story of the man in the VCR tapes. Stay with me until the end, because once you hear his name, you'll never look at a camera the same way again. Before we begin, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell, because this is only one of many horrors I'll be bringing straight to your screen. Now, dim the lights, and whatever you do, don't watch this after midnight. My name is Alex, and I've always had a weakness for old junk. I spend my weekends drifting between thrift shops, flea markets, and yard sales, hoping to find something weird, something forgotten. That's how I stumbled across a battered cardboard box marked $5 tapes at a garage sale last month. Inside were about a dozen VHS tapes, dusty and unlabeled except for dates scribbled in faded marker. 1992, 1996, 1999, years long gone. I don't even own a VCR anymore, but nostalgia got the better of me. The guy running the sale looked too eager to get rid of them. When I handed him the cash, he smiled in a way that made my stomach twist. You're watching them after midnight, right?
First viewing. Back home, I dug out an old VCR from the attic. It barely worked, grinding and wheezing when I'd pushed the first tape in. The screen flickered to life. It was a home video of a birthday party. A little girl blew out candles while her family clapped. The picture was grainy, colors washed out, but it felt normal. Until I noticed him. In the background, by the window, a man stood watching. Tall, in dark clothing, face blurry. At first, I thought he was just some guest out of focus, but he never moved, never clapped, never smiled. I fast-forwarded. He was still there, standing in the same spot, staring. I brushed it off as a trick of the light. The second tape was Christmas morning. Kids tearing open presents, laughter. And in the corner of the room, behind the tree, the same man, just barely visible. Always there, always watching. Midnight disturbance. I didn't remember the garage sale guy's words until 3 nights later. I couldn't sleep, so I decided to watch another tape. This one was dated 1999. The VCR clicked, and the screen filled with static before settling into a shaky recording of a family picnic. And there he was again, the man, standing just beyond the tree line, far in the background, but unmistakable, still, silent. I leaned forward, pressing my face closer to the screen, and then he turned his head, not toward the family, not toward the person holding the camera, toward me. His face was smeared in the static, but his eyes, dark, hollow, locked on mine through the screen. His lips moved, forming words I couldn't hear. Heart pounding, I grabbed the remote and hit pause. But the video didn't freeze. The family stayed frozen mid-laugh, but the man kept moving, kept speaking. And then he started walking forward. The whisper. The screen warped, static lines tearing across it as he drew closer. His blurred face pressed against the inside of the glass. His lips brushed the edge of the frame, and I swear I heard it, a whisper. "You're next." The TV clicked off by itself, plunging the room into silence. I sat frozen, gripping the remote so tightly my knuckles ached. When I turned the screen back on, the tape was gone, just blank blue. I tried to laugh it off, but that night I dreamed of him, standing in the corner of my bedroom, watching, waiting.
Spreading. Over the next week, I noticed changes. Shadows where there shouldn't be. A reflection in the bathroom mirror that lingered a second too long. One night, I woke to the sound of the VCR turning on by itself. I stumbled into the living room and found the TV glowing with static. A tape I hadn't put in was already rolling. It showed my street, my house, my front door. And in the corner of the frame, he stood, the man, watching. I ran to the window, pulled the curtain open. Nothing. Just an empty street. But when I looked back at the TV, he was closer, halfway up my driveway. I unplugged everything, yanked the tape out, and smashed it. The plastic shattered, film spilling across the carpet. But later, when I checked my phone, I nearly dropped it. The camera roll was filled with dozens of photos I hadn't taken. Grainy, dark shots of me sleeping. And in every single one, the man stood in the corner of the room. The last tape. I decided to return the tapes. Drove back to the address where the garage sale had been. But the house was abandoned, windows boarded, grass overgrown, dust and rot. It looked like no one had lived there in years. Back home, I realized only one tape remained unwatched. I told myself I wouldn't play it, but curiosity always wins. I slid it in. Static. Then the picture cleared. It was me, sitting in my living room, watching the tape. And behind me, standing in the corner of the frame, was the man. I froze, slowly turned my head toward the corner of the room. Empty. But when I looked back at the TV, the man was gone. The camera zoomed closer and closer to me sitting on the couch until the screen filled with my own terrified face. And then the whisper. "Now you're mine." The tape ended. The forbidden warning. Since then, I see him everywhere. In mirrors, in windows, in every recording I make. It doesn't matter if it's a VHS, a phone, a reflection on glass. Once you watch the tapes, he spreads. He becomes part of you. So if you ever find a box of old VHS tapes at a yard sale, don't buy them. And if you already have, don't watch them after midnight, because once you see him, he'll never stop seeing you. And that's where the tapes end. Or at least, that's where the police reports say they end. No one knows who the man is. No one knows where the recordings came from. But some swear if you find a box of unmarked VHS tapes at a yard sale, he'll already be inside, waiting for you to press play. If you're still watching this, you made it farther than most. But be careful. The more you think about him, the more likely he is to notice you. So before you turn off this video, do something to protect yourself. Hit the like button, subscribe,
and join the forbidden files. Because around here, the more of us there are, the harder it is for him to choose who to follow home. Until next time, keep your lights low and your eyes on the screen.